Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I think I haven't been live this whole time. Oh no. Dang it. All right. Sorry everybody. I'm live now. I've been here talking for the past half an hour, not realizing I didn't press the go live button. So I've been here talking about I did a quick walkthrough of all my product photographies, my illustrations, my landscapes, and I was in the middle of doing my page layout when I realized I wasn't live. All right. Apologies to everybody for me only having 15 minutes, but I've been here since about 5 after 11, just talking through all my stuff, and haven't been live. I talked to Mr. Smith, and I said hi to John, and I was wondering why none of them were there, but I see now it's because I didn't press the button. Dang it. Well, I'm going to do a quick rundown, I guess, of all the works I got to go through again now. Let me just quickly go through these. This was a Mountain Dew sandwiches ad I did. I had help printing this label off with Andy and in the graphic communications team. This was just a little joke that basically between me and some of my friends that took a turn, and I actually turned it into a project, which I think it turned out pretty well. Um, this one was a kind of a last minute one. We threw together this kind of quickly because I remembered all my gear and everything, but I forgot to bring in something to photograph for that day for product photography. So I decided to do the peace tea cans because our class has a small unhealthy obsession with peace tea, and so there was just a ton of cans lying around. And I wanted Rainy, this is Rainy's hand here, to be holding an actual peach in the photo, but we couldn't find one. So somebody in the class made a joke about using the Legos that were in the storage closet, and I actually took it and I ran with it. So this was a little false peace tea Lego advertising mashup, and I could this was the major one. I could see possibly the each one having its own little advertisement with the little berries, and this one with the little mints, the little Lego leaf block, the little lemon here I quickly threw together. This little and this little peach I quickly threw together as well. Um, Dang it, this sucks that I only have 15 minutes, but it's all right. This was a photo that I took downtown. This was just me, my friend Derek John, DJ, which is why it says call Derek, as a little nod to him because that's him in the photo, and one of my other friends, Jack, who we all went downtown together and took photos of just stuff downtown. We just had a hangout photography session, and this was one of the photos I snapped that looked like a NL tourism ad. So I was like, you know what? Let's make a little Newfoundland tourism joke about this. Uh, this was another one I had to throw together quickly because I realized I needed to hand something in the next day. So I ran to the dollar store and grabbed a couple things that I could take photos of, and this was one of them, and it was kind of a quick thrown together thing, but it worked. Came up pretty well. I quickly covered up the price. You can still even see there's a bit of a Dollarama tag right there, and I think one of the funnier parts about this photo is the fact that this is my friend Jack, who I went downtown with shooting this. This is his hand, and he actually has like a small cut here and a cut that was healing here. Uh, and there's the only two spots that don't have band-aids on them. So he has a little healing cut here with a band-aid here, a healing cut here with a band-aid there. Just thought that was funny. But I guess it kind of shows as well, like the healing process and these things, help healing you. Yeah, I think that's all for those. Let me just quickly run into my illustrations. This was a texture exercise that I did back in George Brown. Man, I had a whole speech when I was talking about this about how I liked CNA a lot better than George Brown. No diss to George Brown. It's a great school. But it wasn't right for me. And then coming to CNA, I realized that was right for me. So that was something that I did a bit of work on. This was, I went into the whole story about what these characters are. They're two characters from a game called League of Legends, and it's supposed to be the duality of death. You have the lamb and you have the wolf, which I then redid in this illustration here. But this was it's the duality of death. If you accept death's fate, then you get the swift true arrow, and you feel from the lamb, and you feel no pain. But if you run from death and try to escape it, then the wolf hunts you down, and makes you suffer for it. I guess what is the story behind these. So you have like a very humanoid looking lamb with the mask, and you have the wolf head with a very spooky, spectral, ghosty body, and his little mask as well. This is my first ever vector drawing, and it's kind of the thing that got me into using Illustrator instead of Photoshop. But obviously, over my career, I figured out how to use Photoshop for illustrations and such. But yeah, this was a little piece that I did for that. This is a stippling work that I did. This is a 2-month project that for an illustration class. It's supposed to be a self-portrait, but I just used my love for dinosaurs as my self-portrait. It didn't have to be a literal self-portrait. It could be a figurative one. So I used a lot of people know me as the dinosaur guy, so I went with the dinosaur because it's also a lot easier for me to draw those than people. So went with that. I had to do a mock-up for my teacher. That took me 2 days, 2-3 days of this thing basically, but at this size, and then 2 months to do it about this size. And I just went from the darkest out. So obviously this is all stippled. It was a lot of work, and this was all stippled and all of this. But then when you get into the smaller details, you can tell that it actually is stippling. But it was a lot of work, especially these the inside of his mouth, the underside of his belly where there's so much darkness, the inside of his leg, underside of his tail, everything that's obscured by the shadow cast by his body. It was a lot of work. And like I said before, this is another play on the lamb and wolf duality here. This was one that I did completely out of spray paint. So these are all stencil work that I did. And yeah, there is some. Oh, hey Andy, I was just talking about you. I was talking about how you helped me print off these labels here. Yeah, so this is a work I did on spray painting. It was this was some stuff I did in George Brown as well. I did stencil work and cut them out and used the spray paint, and I made a little bit of a oopsie when I was trying to get the red paint for the eye, and I made a little red splat along the painting, and I thought it was ruined, but I actually went back and I was like, hey, that actually looks kind of cool. So you can see that this edge is kind of a bit more red than this one over here. It's a lot easier to tell in person. It's upstairs, I think, though. Yeah. So It's kind of cool because it adds a little bit of color to this black and white drawing. I went into a quick breakdown of my D&D dinosaurs Valentine's, or not dinosaurs, dragons Valentine's Day cards. I went through describing how this one's an amphitheater. It's a a dragon with no arms, no legs, but wings. So it's basically a serpent with wings. This is a water dragon, a leviathan, and basically the water type. No need for wings when you have paddles. This is a full dragon, 2 arms, 2 legs, and wings. If it didn't have arms but had wings, and it's like uses its wings as arms, it'd be a wyvern. And this is a drake, which is a dragon with arms and legs but no wings. Now, isn't that basically just a dinosaur? You'd be correct. But yeah, this is a kind of, I tried to make it a little more dragon looking with the horns and the big flat tail. Yeah. I went through my landscape photography. I'll just went through it quickly. A lot of these are from the same place. It was from Fort Amherst. They were all on, I'm pretty sure they were all on different days. I think 2 of them might have been on the same day. But this was from Fort Amherst across to Signal Hill. This was also from Fort Amherst across to Cape Spear, but these were on different days. This one is out in Conception Bay. This was I did with when I went out with my dad. So we went out on the boat to check out the iceberg, and I snapped this photo just while I was out there. This one is also a Fort Amherst, but I think this one is on the same day as this one. So same day photos, but 2 completely different shots. So I kind of like that. Yeah. I was quickly going through my page layout stuff. This was a book I did. I talked about in my last live stream. Man, 15 minutes is hard to cram stuff into. That this was my this is me in these costumes. I made these costumes as well, and I went through and I added in all of this afterwards. I went into to Photoshop and added all of this stuff. So this is a kind of a quick book I made up. Wasn't really a real book, but I made it up, and this is an actual author though for 343 Industries. Gallery Books is the actual publisher for 343 Industries books, and I put the actual links and everything. I put a quick barcode, did a little write-up of a little fake story, I guess I kind of quickly came up with. Gave it a fake title, and then, yeah, sent it on its way. This is you'll notice 2 reoccurring themes with me is the sci-fi kind of shooting side to me, which is Halo and Destiny here, and the costumes I make, and then the other side is the dinosaurs and the dragons and the lizards and stuff. So you'll see a lot of my art falls into one of those 2 categories, or a lot of my art and all my design work falls into one of those 2 categories. So I had to do up a catalog. There's a catalog I did of just Destiny hand cannons, Destiny exotic hand cannons. I did a quick description up of all of them. I came up with the descriptions, but they're actually the stories of these weapons, so I just quickly summed them up into a small little paragraph. None of these photos were taken by me. I have one of these. I made one of these. I 3D printed it off and made it, but this isn't my photo. And this one, space movies throughout the decades. I knew which ones I wanted to. I wanted to have Trip to the Moon, because that's the first ever like sci-fi movie. I wanted to do 2001: A Space Odyssey, because that is the space movie, and I wanted to do Interstellar because that is one of my favorite space movies. So those are like the 3 kind of cornerstones. It's really funny how they ended up in the front, the middle, and the end. Now I did this last year, so it was in 2019, so I didn't have any 2020 space movies to go off of yet. So come 2029, I'll update this with a new space movie here along the other rim. I wanted to do a sort of sun and solar system look. So the sun is the trip to the moon, and that's what gives life to all these other ones. And I did a quick little rings around Alien and Avatar just to look like Saturn and Neptune. All right, I think that is it for time for me. Sadly, I I was hoping to have a bit more time, but I never pressed the go live button. So sadly, I will have to go here now. But if you would like to ask me any more questions, feel free. My Instagram is probably my best way to reach me. Right here, Instagram.com/fossilfocus. That's my brand for the dinosaur stuff. But I also have all my other works down here as well, and some old costumes of mine that I went through last episode. Reach me there. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, or you can email me at michael.collis709@gmail.com. I'm always checking that. So feel free to take a look at my stuff there, or take a look at feel free to ask me questions there. Sorry, and yeah, sorry for this to be such a short thing, but I did not. I went through about 45 minutes of this live stream and didn't hit go live. So apologies for that. Hopefully, I might be able to get a time at the end of the day to. I might be back at the end of the day. I'll talk to Craig about it, and I'll hand it over to who is up next. Hand it over to oh, it's lunch break. So I will yeah, I'll end it for now, but I'll be back hopefully maybe at 5, and I will see you guys then. Have a good one. Feel free to contact me.